I'd like your opinion on our commercial. I've paid to have it aired during the Super Bowl. Wow. Not on the same channel, of course.
We are coming to you from Barcelona for ISE 2025. We gathered AV luminaries and really smart people to tell us what they thought of the show in Barcelona and what they're taking away. All that and more next on AV Week. This is AV Week, episode 7 and 3, recorded Friday, February 7, 2025. ISE 2025, part 1. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of all the AV news and information we have gathered. I look different, I sound different, because we're in Barcelona. This is not new if you've listened to AV Week for a minute. So every time we come to Barcelona in ISE 2025, we'll have a wrap-up of some really important, great folks. First round is Jason Ward.
Hey,
How are you, sir?
Great to see you. Long time since we've been together.
A very long time.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
And a woman who helps me do what we do this week, Tanya Houston, from, well, I almost said Wildwood PR. It's Wildwood Plus
Wildwood
now.
Plus, we do so much more than PR.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Very, very lovely to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So here's how it's going to work. The next 2 weeks, we're going to have some really great luminaries from the industry and really just kind of ask, what's this week been like? So, Jason, this is your first ISE in Barcelona.
It is.
You and I spent many years and nights in Amsterdam. So, what do you think? What about this show?
I think Barcelona does a better job of Amsterdam.
Okay.
It's more spread out.
Yeah.
So it's harder to find people on the night. I mean, Barcelona looks after us better. I think.
Okay.
The show halls are better. I think the show halls are more akin to the Infocom American style, German style.
Yeah.
Show halls, so better on the feet. Really, I think I've done less steps. But as you get
think?
older, my feet. I think I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't.
In Amsterdam, it's there.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Rye, which is where the show was in Amsterdam, is it a bit like a fun house?
Yeah.
With interconnecting halls.
Yeah.
This is just one big hall, like one after another.
Yeah. So I've enjoyed that more.
Yeah.
Often going to Hall 7.
You need to do that this morning.
Did that yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tanya, I mean, you have obviously been with ISE for many years.
Yes.
Compare and contrast. Like, I mean, we've been here for 4 years now in Barcelona. But yeah, to Jason's point, can compare and contrast.
I completely agree. I think the layout in this modern venue at the Fira works so much. It's so much more. You can get across the
More grown
halls.
up, really,
it's
isn't it?
not more grown up, but it's also a lot bigger. It's also a lot more spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
So the corridors, even though there's way more people than we ever had in Amsterdam, you can still navigate the corridors. You can still get to places. And the buzz of the show, I think, has been fantastic this week.
Yeah, pull on that for a second, because that is one of the things, because we interview people at booths, at stands, and after the second or third day, they'll ask, how do you think the show is going? I'll ask the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That buzz, that energy is one of the common things that I have certainly picked up on. Can you quantify that, though?
The buzz is the biggest thing about the show, because AV is not launching like sexy new tech like it used to year on year. As you know from talking as friends, I sort of lost my energy for AV. Come back this year with more energy than ever, and the buzz has kept me going even when the feet don't want me to.
Okay.
I've sort of set our agenda to meet the right people who've put me in touch with the right people that I might not know.
Yeah.
And so it's just every meeting's been positive. Working in Europe, in the UK, you're always landing with the right person.
Okay.
Who will follow up with you back in the UK and will work with you in the UK. If I went to a different geography, I wouldn't necessarily, if I went to Infocom, for example, I wouldn't necessarily be landing on my guy in the UK. So it's important to where we are with our growth journey now, being a smaller AV company with a growth curve, 100% this year, then it's important to me to start those relationships again.
Okay. Right.
I would agree with that. I think that one of the things that you just said there, Jason, works if you plan your visit and you have your appointments.
Don't do it without planning.
Don't do it without planning. It's so much easier.
Yeah, because it's my boss's first trip.
Okay.
So I did all the planning, and he's been saying all along, Joe's did it well. Joe's planning and all the rest of it. So, and that's my 15, 18 years of doing it, and I've had a few years off.
Yeah.
But all the past in Amsterdam set me up with a good stead.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know my way around these halls.
Yeah.
It's
much easier to navigate though, because going back to the Rye, I remember you had weird things because of the way that the building grew. Hall 13 was next to Hall 7, and then there's Hall. This is
Yeah.
Hall 1
And
follows
that
Hall 2,
that big
follows
walkway
Hall
over
3.
the top's really helpful.
The big walkway is fantastic, and one of the big developments, I suppose, this year was the addition of Hall 8.1.
Yeah.
But it feels so integrated into the show floor. It feels part of it. It's not a separate. I mean, it is a long walk. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But happily, there are travelators, and that's great. But it feels really connected, and I think that the crowds, the passion that you can hear as you walk around. I've heard so many different languages as well this week.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's Spanish, there's been German, there's been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been really multicultural. I've really enjoyed it.
I don't know what the numbers are, but it feels like, because of my time away, as the numbers grew post-COVID, it feels like the numbers didn't change to me.
Oh, they've
So there's
changed.
still.
Oh, they've changed.
Yeah.
As somebody who is trying to get around the show floor, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, they have grown.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
and that's kind of my barometer, right? Is you talk to folks who spend all day in one stand, right? They work for a manufacturer, the press of people, the busyness of them, and they have one kind of view.
Yes.
For us that are trying to travel between different booths, and I spent most of my day on Wednesday in Hall 3.
Yeah.
Right. Getting from booth to booth.
Yeah.
Yes, the middle aisle was very, very packed, right? Typically, but even the side ones,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
The secondary aisles were also very packed. So that was kind of my sense that it has certainly grown.
Yeah. I mean, Wednesday always used to be the busier, uncomfortable day because there are so many people.
Yeah.
Tuesday to me felt really packed.
Uh-huh.
We
Yesterday
avoided
even.
Tuesday. We're going to have
Thursday.
a nice quiet day.
Yeah, sensible.
Yeah.
It was, well, not sensible, no, do come. But but that's what I mean about you plan the journey. It's really, it's nice to come to a city that welcomes the show and puts on a lot of activities in the evenings. There's
I think the
lots
little
to
things
see.
as well, when you use a metro, there's signage
Yeah.
Yes.
that Amsterdam didn't have.
Yes.
Yeah, because as a first-time visitor in Barcelona, I'm not, where am I going?
Yeah.
But it's, the signs here. Never had that before.
Well, and that goes back to the planning and the show organizer, right? Integrated systems. That is a small thing, but it's actually a huge thing because I was the same way. My hotel was like 30 minutes away from here by metro, and you're right. They have signs strategically in different metro stops.
Yes.
It's very huge.
Yeah.
Technology, Jason, or just overall feeling. What are you taking away from Barcelona this year?
People again.
Okay.
But better connected with more people. Technology. I loved seeing a bit of edge blend on the Barco circle of inspiration, I think it was called. Made me feel a bit sick when it went. But yeah, I loved all that. Oh, LED overload.
Okay.
But I had a massive audio day yesterday, and really refining that knowledge of a speaker isn't just a speaker, and an amplifier isn't just an amplifier. So we went really deep on audio yesterday. Because we're half residential, half commercial.
Okay.
So I've really had to get into the mind of the audio snob and really sort of, hit those high-end sort of speaker manufacturers but invisible speakers, smaller speakers, garden speakers. Great.
You can see it growing, can't you, as well? There's
yeah.
so much more here for audio, that high-end.
But I did have to stay within a certain bracket of brands, because if you see everyone,
Yes, it is tricky. Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to think
I
straight.
may have a couple for you to go on Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tanya, just overall sense in what you're taking away from this year.
This has been, it's been a really passionate, vibrant show. I think the connections with the people. I sit on, I think you'll probably be talking to Iffat a bit later, but I sit on the, co-lead the AVWeek Women's Council in the UK with Iffat, and we had a women and diversity meet-up on the AVWeek Exchange Live booth on, what day was it? It feels like a month ago, it was only Wednesday. And the variety of job roles, the different people that we met, all ages. There's a lot of younger people coming into the industry. And I had I'm really trying to learn Spanish. Okay. I've gone from being able to just order to have a conversation now, ish. But I met a mother and daughter lighting and staging firm. So there was just the two of them. The mother was, she's been in the industry for about 30 years. And the daughter had just joined, and they were so pleased that this show was here and available to them. They hadn't been to an ISE before, and it was groovy. I had conversations with probably 8 different people before I got to a marketing person, and I just thought, this is cool, because this hasn't happened in previous years.
Explain that, right? Because if somebody's not familiar or not kind of tuned into that, Why is that important? Why that it took you 8 people to get to a marketing person? Why is that significant?
Because we had a women's meetup and diversity. Come and meet us and come and just meet people, talk to people. And we had a bit of a speed dating session where don't talk to somebody you know, talk to somebody you don't know. And I met, as I said earlier, sound engineer working with her mother. I met a UX designer. I met somebody else that was on the cables, pulling cables, and it was great. Service.
Yeah, it's important that the female representation isn't just a marketing person or something like that.
Yeah.
In our organisation, it's board member and engineer.
Yeah.
Marketing is very important, Jason.
Very important.
Yes,
marketing
you
is
need
very
to know
important.
things.
Well, I think I
It
get what you were
but
saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
Marketing is important.
It is important. But I mean, things like today, Friday, the show has got things like it's Fast Forward Friday. There's a lot of production futures is here with a whole day with students and entry into the industry. There are so many different pathways to get into AV. And we've got a long way to go. We are in a very male-dominated industry.
Yep.
There's no point pretending. But that's the world that we live in. And it's just nice to celebrate, meet new people, have conversations, because in real life, you meet people, you remember them. It's much easier to follow up and sell to them afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been great. And I've genuinely had conversations in every hall with that same passion, with that same feedback. And it's been probably the best. I mean, this has been the most enjoyable ISE I've had, and we've been to several.
I would agree with that. I said something to somebody last night at one of the events, and like this has been just the energy. You use the word buzz. I'll steal that. It has really been a very positive experience.
Yeah.
Yes, it's tiring, right?
Yeah.
We're walking around always, right?
Yeah.
But the energy and the buzz here has been fantastic. What are you looking forward to then for next year?
The next year, well, we've mentioned growth,
Okay.
but for me personally, education,
Yeah.
because I'm re-educating and relearning sort of the new ways of doing things. So it's just re-educating myself again. So looking forward to that.
All right.
Yeah, that's cool. I love Barcelona. I love this venue. I think it really suits ISE. I think that the growth is great. We're bringing, I mean, we're in the same boat as many. We're bringing more people each year just from Wildwood to cope with. There is so much to see, there's so much to do, and so many media partners to work with. And it's great, can't wait.
All right. Thank you both. Jason, how do people connect with you?
I've taken a break from X, so JP Ward UK on Blue Sky or LinkedIn.
All right. Tanya?
Excellent. I'm Tanya.Houston at wildwoodplus.com or at Wildwood Plus, any of the various platforms. You'll find us.
All right. Thank you both.
Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Thanks.
All right. Part 2 for this. Iffat Chaudhry, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Mr. Joe Way, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fabulous. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, UCLA and HETMA. Nice HETMA soccer scarf. Is that what's the proper name for that?
I have no idea. I mean, to me, it looks like a Catholic church vestment.
Oh my,
kind of
okay.
piece.
Investments, and we've had everything. The graduation scarves
Yes,
as well.
100%.
That would be on brand.
Yeah, it would. All right. If that same as the last segment here, what's something you've experienced this week? What is your experience at ISE been?
I think my highlight has to be, and I'm not giving myself a shout out, but I kind of am giving myself a shout out. But on Wednesday, because I co-lead the AVIXA Women's Council, we had the AVIXA Mixer and Meetup, which I'm told had double the attendance of any of the other mixers or meetups this week, and I'm absolutely delighted with that.
You should give yourself credit for that. Absolutely.
I'll do that.
Absolutely.
I'll take it.
One of the things that, because we had just interviewed Tanya Houston, she talked about, you guys had a speed dating session, and she met 7 or 8 women that were, until she got to a marketing person.
Yes.
Number 1, nothing wrong with being in marketing. Number 2 is a fine career regardless of your gender.
Yeah.
But in AV, that is typical. It is a kind of simplistic way of saying that's where women have been in the industry.
It has been. Yeah.
She was fascinated and very much encouraged by the fact that she found engineers, she found cable pullers. Talk about why that matters.
So the first person I spoke to, and I have to say, I was a little bit worried about the format, and I kind of went a little bit rogue with the format, but it worked. People humoured me because the danger was people would sit down and not get up, and I've seen that happen before, where people just actually get up and leave a stand because they think, oh no, I need to speak to somebody, so I'm not going to do that. The first person I spoke to owned her own company. She started up her own company having been in AV, and she had actually done every element, every role. So it's important because we need to amplify those experiences that are out there that we don't necessarily come across and we don't traditionally see. And the more we amplify it, the more accessible it becomes to other people, and it becomes a bit of an inspiration point. That, and I know people say, if you don't see it, you can't be it. I don't believe in that, because I think you can make your own destiny as well. But you need a bit of both, and having those examples is brilliant.
All right. Joe, we made fun of your HETMA scarf. HETMA is here. You guys have a stand. What's been the experience with that?
It's been phenomenal. We didn't really know what to think. Everyone knows us from North America, right? And kind of having been to Infocom 2 years in a row, and now saying, how can we now bring what we do over to the EMEA market? And it's just very different culturally, right? Different groups. And to see, I'll do a shameless plug as well. I'm going to say our event was better than yours. Because, well,
you can try.
I know, but because like I said, we through our happy hour there at the booth, we had over 200 and some people come swing by, which was unbelievable. And then just to see really the community and all channel partners, from higher ed members who we met from all over, from Estonia to Greece to Africa to whatever, and that was exactly our point: is how can we build that so that we can kind of create this working group. And then to see manufacturer partners really recognize too that there's been a challenge for them in the higher ed market because of all the cultural differences. They don't know how to find someone, or language differences. So to be able to see us be embraced and to say, we would love, just one point of entry into the higher ed market, right? And so I think that has been our goal, is kind of find a few random people that kind of create our European board, and we have done that much exceeded our expectations.
Very good. In fact, one of the things that we talked in the first segment about, and I am certain we'll ask the same question in part two, and that is the busyness of ISE, right? I said this before, that Tuesday and Wednesday was difficult getting around. What does just the pure growth of this show mean, not just for the European market? Because yes, ISE is Integrated Systems Europe. It has evolved in the last 20 years to be a global show. Why is that important?
And it's the biggest global show, right? So, and I think early indications, I had a brief sneak at the figures, and they are looking really good. So it's tremendous, and it's great for the team. I think for our industry, it's important to have somewhere, because I don't want to do it a disservice by calling it a catch-all, but it literally is somewhere where you can, if you are expanding your business or just to get ideas, it's a phenomenal place to go and check out other tech. So if you are in one lane, how do you actually expand your business, and how do you find out what other or even adjacent businesses are doing? I mean, broadcast is creeping in, esports is even more present. I don't know if anybody got over to see the drones, but even all of that, and it is a bit of a trek the bigger we get, right? So I've lovingly called 8.1 Amsterdam as a nod to our past, but you've got to plan your visit, but there is a lot actually in one place that's been put on for visitors.
Joe, same kind of question. What does this mean, not just for you, because you're an exhibitor this year, but you're also an attendee, right? And certainly this show, again, has evolved. The industry has evolved around it. And talking to Mr. Blackman, Mike Blackman, the show director, this show has gone over 250 or 300 new product announcements, right? So it's the first part of the year, so companies have done stuff like that. So what does this whole global show mean?
Yeah, I mean, for higher ed, this is actually an important time because this is the beginning of our buying cycles. We're planning for summer, right? When you get new product out, it helps us as opposed to, shows that might fall in summer where it might be a little bit too late to make some of those decisions right away. And, I have my UCLA leadership team here with me, right? Because they can get that opportunity to see such a bigger breadth of product and solutions, and the way the halls are set up to be themed gives you a good idea of kind of how to frame what your role is and how everything fits in so much bigger. That to be said, I think we were just talking last night when it was going, biggest change, how many American accents are here?
Yes.
Right? And that's a big difference. I'm hearing it everywhere I'm walking. So it'll be interesting to see how the numbers pan out, because I've been saying that this is a global show. Barcelona is a great city. It's easy. The world's getting smaller to be able to travel anywhere. So it'll be interesting to see if this kind of becomes another new staple for, at least our area of North America.
Yeah, it's if memory serves correctly, which, my brain anymore, but I want to say it was like 13 to 15% North American is what the population of this show has been in the past. I too am going to be very interested to see how that breaks out. If that last question here before I let you guys go, what are you taking away from this show? Either a theme or an idea? What are you taking away from ISE this year?
I think the biggest thing for me was the calmness, that everything's been super smooth this year, and it feels like we've settled into a rhythm with the show. So a few years in, worked out the teething problems, everything, even the entrance hall, day one, crowds of people, it was moving at a pace. Yeah. Earlier years, when I think back a couple of years, you saw the queue snaking around outside and all of that. I mean, taxi queues are always going to be that way, but getting into the show and even the movement around the show, it feels like even though there are more exhibitors, it's been smoother, which is great, and you see people. I saw very few stands that weren't busy, and that's a fantastic thing. For exhibitors, that's Absolutely. A brilliant thing to see.
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah, I would almost echo that. One of the things that I've been saying to people is the show just feels right.
It really does.
I don't know all of the other details, but it just feels right. And we see it as coming by our stand, how many people are coming through, passing through, seeing that, and a real interest, not just in our organization, but I think an interest in our industry. Yeah. And you can just see it, and people really kind of taking that next step, for lack of the 80,000 steps we get in around here this week. But that to me is it. And it's interesting, the theme of ISE this year is connection restored. Yep. Right? I would say that is exactly how this is. Right. Okay. And I think hopefully we've turned the page on coming out of the pandemic. What is it going to be like? Yeah. You wouldn't know any of that existed if you only knew this show by itself.
Yeah. That's a good word. Iffat, Chaudhry, how do people connect with you?
Best place is probably LinkedIn. So Iffat Chaudhry on LinkedIn.
And how do they find your fantastic podcast?
My podcast is on YouTube, but the link is on my LinkedIn page as well. So,
Mr. Way?
Yeah, don't follow me on the socials. Follow at TD Albright.
That's Tim's line.
That is my
line.
That you can find me at Josiah Way on all the socials, and find HETMA_org on all the socials.
All right, and they have tons of podcasts, so I'm not even going to have them go down the list. Just go to HETMA.org. Joe's right. Don't follow me anywhere. If you want to see me writing about something that isn't AV, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can go read those things. Although this week I did write something about AV, the AI and AV thing. But go by the website, AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. You'll find this program and a host of others. We're recording this on Friday, the 7th of February. I have no idea what Mitchell's been doing this week, so I don't know what he posted today. So, but go by and find the other podcasts. I'm sure that he posted a fantastic one But also check out, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go listen to us on a podcast or vice versa. But go by the website, you'll find more videos from the show floor of ISE and a whole lot more. So all that and more at AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AV Nation.